are moments in life when even the most faithful hearts whisper, "Why, Lord?" Moments when the world seems to flourish, and yet those who walk uprightly, who kneel in prayer and surrender daily, face the crushing weight of lack. The rent is due, the pantry is sparse, the job is uncertain, and the soul wonders, why are the chosen ones struggling? Let me tell you something right now. If you are walking through financial drought, don't you dare believe it's because God has forgotten you. Don't let the enemy deceive you into thinking you're forsaken, forgotten, or unloved. In fact, your very struggle may be the clearest evidence that you are chosen. You see, God never calls his children to the easy path. He didn't call Moses to luxury. He called him to Pharaoh's court, to confrontation, to wilderness wandering. He didn't call David straight to the throne. He called him to caves, betrayal, and battles. And Christ himself was not spared the trials of this world. He was born in a manger, raised in obscurity, tempted in the desert, betrayed by a friend, and crucified by the very people he came to save. Why then would you, his chosen, be exempt from hardship? The chosen suffer not because they are forgotten, but because they are set apart. God is refining you, beloved. He is stripping away the crutches so you can learn to stand in faith. He is removing the distractions so you can hear his voice clearly. He is closing doors not to punish you, but to position you. Because when your breakthrough comes, and it will come, you will know that it was not man who opened that door, it was God. This world is not our home, and sometimes God allows financial hardship to remind us of that truth. The systems of this world reward pride, deception, shortcuts, but you are called to integrity. You are called to righteousness. And sometimes righteousness won't pay well, not at first, but let me tell you, the reward of the righteous is eternal. The harvest doesn't always come in the season you expect that it is coming. You may feel hidden, you may feel overlooked, but heaven sees you. Heaven hears your prayers at midnight when the bills lay open on the table and tears stain the paper. Heaven hears your gratitude when you thank God for the little you have. Heaven sees your obedience when you tithe from a place of lack, when you give without knowing if you'll have enough for yourself. That, my friend, is faith. That is sacrifice. That is what moves the heart of God. Some of you are not broke because you're lazy. You're broke because you're in a battle. You are not struggling because you're irresponsible. You're struggling because you're in training. God is teaching you how to trust him in the valley, so when he takes you to the mountaintop, you won't forget who brought you there. The enemy doesn't attack the weak, he attacks the chosen. He knows what's inside of you. He sees the calling, he sees the fire, and so he tries to distract you with lack, discourage you with delay, and destroy you with doubt. But greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Don't curse your struggle. Don't despise your season, because what you are walking through today is preparing you for what you will carry tomorrow. You see, God never gives a crown without first giving a cross. And if you are enduring financial pain, it may be because God is preparing to entrust you with wealth, not just money, but wisdom, influence, and resources that will change nations. You are not being punished. You are being purified. You are not being overlooked. You are being protected. God won't release you into your next season until your character can carry the weight of the blessing. Because blessings that come too early can crush you. Money given too soon can mislead you. But when God finishes his work in you, you will be a vessel of honor, able to carry his glory and not misuse it. Look back at Joseph. betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, all before he touched the palace. But if Joseph had not been broken, he wouldn't have had the compassion, the wisdom, the humility to lead a nation during famine. His financial hardship wasn't a detour, it was the preparation. Some of you are crying out for provision, and God is answering with preparation. You ask for a miracle, and he gives you a lesson. You want the blessing, and he hands you a burden. But listen to me, that burden is holy. That burden is growing you. That burden is the fire that is burning away every ounce of fear, every drop of pride, every trace of selfishness, until all that is left is a servant heart that can steward what's coming. Because something is coming. You weren't chosen to remain in lack. You were chosen to rise above it. But the process is painful. The process is lonely. Sometimes God will let people walk out on you so you learn to depend on him alone. Sometimes God will close every door just to show you that he is the door. Sometimes he'll dry up the brook just to lead you to the river. And if you feel like you're wandering in the wilderness, know this: every wilderness has an end, and every test has a purpose. You are not being led in circles. You are being led in surrender. The blessing will not come when you finally get it all together. It will come when you finally let go. When you say, Lord, I trust you, whether I have much or little. I praise you, whether I'm promoted or passed over. I follow you, whether I feast or fast. You were not born to be crushed by lack. You were born to rise above it, to walk in supernatural provision, to carry divine strategies, to move mountains by faith. But faith that has not been tested cannot be trusted. So God is testing your faith not to fail you, but to forge you. Every unpaid bill, every job rejection, every closed door, he is using it to strengthen your resolve, to refine your motives, to teach you endurance, because what's coming next requires a stronger version of you. See, God doesn't just want to bless you, he wants to bless others through you. And that's why your process feels heavier, because the weight you're called to carry isn't just for yourself. You're going to feed others. You're going to lift others. You're going to break chains for others. But first, God must break you, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you. The crushing is necessary. The pressing is painful, yes, but it's how the oil flows. The chosen go through the press so they can carry the anointing. And with the anointing comes responsibility. That's why God is allowing you to be refined, not because he's angry, but because he's preparing you to carry more. So don't measure your worth by your bank account. Don't measure your favor by your followers. Don't measure your calling by your income. Measure it by your obedience. Measure it by your endurance. Measure it by your faith. When everything seems to fall apart, and yet you still lift your hands in praise. Because that is what separates the chosen from the called. Many are called, but few are chosen. The chosen endure the furnace. The chosen walk through fire. The chosen lose everything, and still say, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And in due season, the blessing comes, but not just any blessing. It is the kind that overflows, the kind that restores everything the enemy stole, the kind that elevates you beyond anything you imagined, not for your glory, but for God's. And when it comes, you look back on the season and say, it was good that I was afflicted. It was good that I struggled. It was good that I had to depend on him, because now I know my Redeemer lives. Now I know my provider is faithful. Now I know my Father never fails. You are not buried, you are planted. You are not forgotten, you are hidden for a season. And when God brings you out, he will do it in such a way that everyone will know it was him. So keep going, keep praying, keep trusting, keep giving even when it hurts. Keep praising even when you're tired. Keep walking even when you don't see the way, because your struggle is not the end. It's the beginning. God is building something in you that money can't buy, that men can't steal, that time can't erase. You are chosen, and that calling comes with cost, but the reward will be far greater than the pain. Because when God gets ready to bless a person, he often starts by breaking them. But oh, when the blessing comes, it will make sense. Oda, your breakthrough is on the way. There's a deep misunderstanding in the hearts of many believers. A belief that if things are hard, if money is tight, if doors keep closing, then perhaps they have done something wrong. Perhaps they've fallen out of favor with God. But let me speak this truth into your spirit today. Your struggle is not proof of your failure. It is the evidence of your preparation. It is not punishment. It is refinement. The very fact that you are experiencing hardship might be the clearest sign that you are on the path God has chosen for you. God has never promised us a life free of challenge. In fact, he tells us over and over that trials will come. But what the enemy means for harm, God uses for transformation. When you go through financial lack, when you walk through that valley where you can't see how the bills will be paid or how the need will be met, God is not sitting on the sidelines. He is working in the background. He is testing your faith, not to destroy it, but to strengthen it. Because gold is refined in fire, and faith is refined in lack. He's not punishing you. He's pruning you. He's cutting back what you don't need so you can grow into what he's calling you to be. That financial pressure you feel, it's revealing where your confidence lies. It's exposing what you truly depend on. Do you trust in your paycheck, or do you trust in his promise? Do you walk by sight, or do you walk by faith? Every great man and woman of God has faced seasons of need, but those seasons weren't meant to break them. They were meant to make them, to prepare them for something greater than they could have handled before. Because the weight of God's blessing is heavy, and unless your character has been fortified in the fire, that blessing could crush you. So if you find yourself in a place of financial struggle, don't despair. Don't compare your journey to others who seem to be soaring while you're just surviving. Their calling is not your calling. And your path, though it may be steep and narrow, is leading to a place of purpose and power that only the refined can enter. God is not withholding to hurt you. He's holding back to grow you. And when the time is right, when the lesson has taken root, when your trust is unshakable and your heart is aligned, he will open the floodgates. And you'll see that the struggle wasn't wasted. It was necessary. It was sacred. And it was always preparing you for more. Faith is not built in times of plenty. It's not formed when everything is comfortable, predictable, and secure. Real, lasting, immovable faith is forged in the furnace of need. It is born when the lights are dim, the bank account is empty, and the way forward is completely hidden. In the silence of lack, God speaks the loudest. In the absence of material support, his presence becomes most evident. That's when you learn what it truly means to trust, not in theory, not in words, but in the core of your being. When all your plans fall through, when people you counted on walk away, when your last resource dries up, you come face to face with the truth. Either God is enough or nothing ever will be. Scarcity strips away the illusion that you're in control. It removes the layers of self-reliance we all cling to. And it is in that raw, uncomfortable place that faith begins to take root. You see, abundance can never produce the depth of faith that hardship can. When everything is provided, it's easy to go through life without ever really depending on God. We may thank Him, we may speak of Him, but we don't always walk with Him. But when you have nothing else to hold on to, when your next breath is a prayer, when your next step is an act of hope, that's when real faith is born. That's when the fire burns hot and purifies every part of you that is unsure, afraid, or double-minded. The chosen ones, the ones God has called for a greater purpose, are often taken through this fire, not because they are less favored, but because they are deeply loved, because He knows what He's placed inside them. And before He can release the promise, He must strengthen the vessel. And nothing strengthens faith like need. Nothing purifies your heart like praying for daily bread and watching it show up. Once the water runs out, the water will start printing again. Trust the gym leader in the tower of God. Nothing grows your confidence in God like seeing Him come through when no one else could. This is why some of the most powerful believers are those who've known lack. They've tasted hunger, both physical and spiritual. They've walked through seasons of silence. They've been brought low, not because of failure, but because God wanted to lift them higher. And now they walk with a faith that isn't shaken by circumstance, a peace that isn't stolen by storms, a joy that isn't tied to outcomes. If you're in a season of lack right now, don't curse it, don't run from it, press into it, because this is holy ground. This is where your faith is being forged, where your roots are growing deeper than ever before. And when the blessing comes, and it will, you won't be moved by it. You won't worship it. You'll know who your source really is. You'll remember the fire, and you'll come out of it stronger, purer, and ready to carry what God has prepared for you. One of the greatest deceptions the enemy wants you to believe is that your struggle is a sign of failure, that your lack is a reflection of being forgotten, that the closed doors, the empty hands, the financial drought all mean that God has left you. But that is a lie. In fact, the opposite is true. The enemy doesn't waste time attacking people who pose no threat. He attacks what he fears. And if you're facing intense warfare, especially in your finances, it may be because you are dangerously close to stepping into your destiny. Think about it. When Jesus was born, Herod ordered a massacre of innocent children. Why? Because the enemy feared what that baby would become. Before Moses could deliver a nation, Pharaoh tried to wipe out his generation. The enemy's pattern has always been the same: attack early, attack hard, and attack strategically. And one of his most strategic attacks against chosen people is financial. Why? Because he knows money is tied to movement. He knows that if you had what you needed, you'd build, you'd bless, you'd break generational curses. He knows you'd fund ministries, help the poor, support your family, and walk in the fullness of your calling. So he hits you where it hurts. He hits your resources. He tries to drain your energy with survival so you won't have strength for your purpose. It's not because you're weak. It's because you're dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Chosen ones often feel the heat of the enemy's fire right before a breakthrough. That's not by accident. It's a last-ditch effort to distract, discourage, and derail you, because if you ever realized how close you really are, if you ever truly believe what heaven has assigned to your life, you'd never give up. You'd fight with everything inside of you. You'd stop seeing the lack as a loss and start seeing it as confirmation that something is about to break open. The enemy sees what's ahead, and if he can't stop the blessing, he'll try to stop you. He'll whisper lies, he'll stir fear, he'll send delay after delay. But listen, his attacks are often loudest when he's losing his grip, When the warfare increases, it means your obedience is working. Your prayers are shaking things. Your faith is causing tremors in the unseen. So don't let the enemy's attacks define your worth. Let them confirm your identity. You are chosen. You are marked. You are on the edge of something sacred and powerful, and that's why hell is fighting you. But the good news, the enemy is already defeated. His attacks are not a sign that you're losing. They're a sign that you're winning, that God is moving, that heaven has placed something valuable inside of you. So stand firm, fight back with praise, declare God's promises over your life, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. And no weapon formed against you, even in your finances, will prosper. You're not under attack because you're cursed. You're under attack because you're chosen. And your breakthrough is closer than you think. Waiting can feel like the hardest test of all. When you've prayed, fasted, believed, and still nothing seems to move, when months turn into years and the promise still hasn't come to pass, it's easy to wonder if you were forgotten. It's tempting to believe that maybe God changed his mind or that you somehow missed your opportunity. But I want you to understand something deep in your spirit today. Delay is not denial. God's timing isn't a rejection, it's a strategy. It's not punishment, it's protection. Because he is not just interested in giving you the blessing, he is committed to preparing you for it. You see, there are blessings that can break you if you receive them too soon. There are doors that look like favor but lead to destruction if you walk through them before you're ready. God doesn't want to just lift you, he wants to keep you there. And that means you must have the endurance to carry the weight of what he's building in your life. And endurance doesn't come in abundance. It comes in delay that's built in the winning. When God withholds provision, it's not because he enjoys your suffering. It's because he sees further than you do. He knows what's coming, and he knows what it will take to sustain it. He withholds to develop discipline. He holds back to build humility. He delays to deepen your spiritual roots, because if you're going to stand tall in purpose, your roots must run deep in surrender. Look at the lives of those God used mightily. Joseph waited in prison before he ruled in the palace. David was anointed king but returned to tending sheep for years. Even Jesus spent 30 hidden years before his 3 years of public ministry. Why? Because God doesn't rush what's eternal. He takes his time with his chosen ones so that when they are revealed, they are unshakable. And it's not just about the destination, it's about who you become in the process. In the waiting, you learn how to hear God's voice more clearly. You learn how to pray not just for things, but for wisdom. You learn how to serve in silence, how to obey without applause, how to trust when there's no sign, and that is spiritual endurance. That is what will carry you not just to the blessing, but through it. So if you're waiting, don't waste it. Don't grow bitter. Don't compare your journey to someone else's timeline. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on schedule for God's divine plan, and when he moves, it will be sudden, it will be powerful, and it will make sense of every delay. You will look back and thank him not only for what he gave, but for what he withheld, because his timing didn't just bring the promise, it built the person. He's not just writing your story, he's preparing your soul. And when the time comes, you won't just receive the blessing, you'll be ready to keep it, steward it, and multiply it. That's the power of God's timing. It's always worth the wait. There's a sacred part of your journey that no one talks about enough, the season of being hidden. It's the quiet place, the overlooked place, the place where it feels like nothing is happening. But in truth, that hidden season is holy ground. It's not a delay, and it's not a rejection. It is divine preparation. Before God elevates a person, he first isolates them. not to hurt them, but to shape them away from the noise, away from the spotlight, away from the expectations of others. God does his most powerful work in secret places. Joseph had dreams of greatness, but before he ruled in the palace, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and locked in a prison. He was hidden, forgotten, even misunderstood, but not by God. David was anointed to be king, yet he was sent back to the pasture to tend sheep. He was not standing on a throne. He was fighting lions and bears when no one was watching. Even Jesus spent 30 years in silence before 3 years of ministry. What was God doing in those years? He was building the vessel, preparing the soul, laying the foundation. The world might call it obscurity, but heaven calls it development, because elevation without preparation will destroy you. Public influence without private surrender is dangerous. God hides his chosen ones not because they're unworthy, but because they are worthy of the weight. He's protecting what he's planted, and he won't expose it until the roots are deep enough to handle the fruit. In that hidden season, pride is stripped away. You learn obedience in the quiet. You serve without recognition. You grow in your relationship with God, not for platform or approval, but for intimacy. It's in the secret place that God becomes your source. You learn to depend on him, not on applause, not on validation. You learn how to worship with tears in your eyes, how to keep walking with no visible results, how to trust him with your whole heart when everything says, give up. Many chosen ones mistake this season as abandonment, but it's not abandonment, it's alignment. God is aligning your heart with his will. He's healing you, he's strengthening you, he's teaching you how to fight battles in the spirit before you ever stand on the battlefield of purpose. You are not buried, you are being planted. And when the time comes, you will break through the surface stronger than ever before. So don't despise the hiding. Don't rush it. Don't resist it. The longer the process, the greater the impact. The more silent the season, the louder the testimony will be. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You are in the hands of a wise and loving Father who knows exactly when to bring you into the light. And when he does, when he reveals what he has been developing in you, the world will see not just the fruit, but the faith, not just the success, but the surrender. Because you didn't skip the process. You were willing to be hidden, and now you're ready to be elevated. There's a promise that you must hold on to in every season of struggle. Breakthrough is coming. It may feel like you're stuck, like you're never going to make it out of this storm, but hear me clearly. This struggle won't last forever. The darkness is not your destiny. The delays are not your defeat. The seasons of lack and hardship are only temporary, and just as the night eventually gives way to the morning, your breakthrough is on the horizon. But it's important to understand this. When God brings the breakthrough, it will come with purpose and power. This isn't a casual passing blessing. This is a breakthrough that's been forged through the fire of your faith and the trials of your obedience. Every moment of struggle, every tear, every prayer, every step of faith has been preparing you for a blessing that is overflowing, purposeful, and deeply impactful. The kind of breakthrough that will change you, your family, and your legacy. The breakthrough God has for you isn't random. It's not just about getting what you want or escaping the pain. It's about fulfilling the destiny he has planned for you. This blessing is part of his greater purpose. You were created for a time such as this. Your pain isn't meaningless. It's part of the process. Every struggle has been a setup for something bigger. God's hand has been on your life even when you couldn't see it. He's been working behind the scenes, aligning everything, preparing the way, and equipping you to handle the greatness that's coming. The breakthrough will come when you least expect it, in ways that only God can orchestrate. But when it comes, it will be overflowing because God does nothing halfway. The blessings he pours out aren't just enough to meet your needs. They are more than enough. He doesn't just give you a little joy. He fills your cup to overflowing. He doesn't just meet your financial needs. He sets you up to be a blessing to others. The breakthrough isn't just for you. It's for the people you'll impact, the lives you'll change, the generations you'll influence. And it will come with purpose. God is intentional with every blessing he gives. This breakthrough is not just to get you out of a hard season, but to position you for something greater. It's meant to equip you, to strengthen you, to push you forward in your calling. Every challenge you've faced has been preparing you to handle this next level of influence, responsibility, and blessing. And above all, it will come with power. The kind of power that doesn't just get you through difficult times, but empowers you to do the impossible. It's the power to stand firm in your purpose, to rise above adversity, to accomplish things that seem beyond your reach. This is the kind of breakthrough that will ignite your faith, that will fill you with boldness to take risks, to step out and to do what God has called you to do. So hold on, even when it's hard. Keep pressing forward when you can't see the end. The breakthrough is coming, and it will be worth everything you've gone through. It will be overflowing with blessing, full of purpose, and brimming with power. And when it arrives, you'll know it's not by your own strength or effort. It's by the grace and timing of God. His perfect timing, and that makes it all the more powerful. Keep holding on. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.